The story of Albert Schweitzer, the value of dedication. Young Schweitzer often pondered life. He had been given many gifts and wanted to share them with others. At 21, he gave himself 9 years to improve his talents. Then he will dedicate himself to serve others. So he became a famous organist and wrote a book about organ and one about Bach. Additionally, Schweitzer studied science and philosophy, became a minister and wrote books about Christianity. After 9 years, he knew he wanted to go to Africa and tell Helen, his sweetheart. Schweitzer is determined, and in 1911, after medical school, he passed his exam, followed by a year's internship. Finally, he asked the Paris Missionary Society to send him to somewhere in Africa that had a hospital. Schweitzer also informed them he would not need a salary because he could live off the money that he had earned from his book. He could hardly wait to tell Helen that he was being sent to Lumberland on Africa's west coast, near the equator. People there suffered from terrible disease and he wanted to help. He asked Helen if she could put up with him, and she responded with a yes. So they married, and a few months later, boarded on ship for Africa. Their ship docked at the Cape Lopez. There, they boarded on the smaller boat, and in finally a few miles, they traveled by canoe. Arriving at the clearing, they saw only a few shacks surrounded by forest. The next day, they began cleaning and painting an old chicken house, which became the hospital. Schweitzer also built shelves for his medication. Throngs of people came to see the new doctor, which was exhausting. About the same time, a local approached Schweitzer and asked in French if she needed help. Joseph then introduced himself, stating that he spoke English, French, and 8 different African languages. He became the assistant that Schweitzer needed. Once a cook, Joseph knew anatomy and say things like, "This man has a pain in his legs of mutton." Schweitzer would think how a leg of mutton looked and know where the pain was. Joseph also learned about medication and helped during the operation. They also built more buildings, including huts for 6 people to stay in. Then Schweitzer heard Germany and France were at war. This thing is
Which was
alarming because they were the German in France territory. Finally, the hospital closed, and only Joseph was left to guard medicine. Schweitzer was taken to a monastery. Where they stayed until 1918, when they were allowed to return to Germany. Soon afterward, they had a baby. Although happy, but Shuhaizer
没有 butter。
wanted to return Lamborghini, but didn't think it's healthy for his new daughter. Finally, he decided. Ultimately, he decided.
Finally, eventually, ultimately.
Ultimately, he decided against taking her, but felt he needed to return because those were his people. After raised the money for supplies and additional buildings, he returned to Africa by himself. When Shuhaizer reached Lamborghini, little was left. Forest had taken over. Jungle had taken over, so he and Joseph began again. Over the years, they built a larger hospital and 40 new hunts to house several hundred people. Shuhaizer's dedicate become new worldwide. Queen Elizabeth gave him Order of Merit. In 1952, he received Nobel Peace Prize and used the money for a new building. Not everyone can be a doctor in Africa, but you can help others no matter you where about. When people ask why he didn't rest, Shuhaizer would answer, "My humanity is like money. If I keep it in a jar on a shelf, it can do nothing. It can do nothing. But if I spend it on others, look at things can happen. Things that can happen.
或者用关系副词 what 点点点。
What can happen?
对。